approximately 1:56 in the morning, Ms. Campbell pulled up into a residence on English Avenue here in Macon, Good County, Georgia. I believe it was actually her daughter's residence. She was dropping her 15-year-old grandson off. The 15-year-old exited the vehicle and went inside. At about that time, Ms. Campbell was approached while still sitting inside the vehicle by two individuals, one of them being the co-defendant before you, the defendant before you, Mr. Spencer, as well as the co-defendant, Mr. Shivers. Mr. Spencer approached from the passenger side of her vehicle. Mr. Spencer had a handgun. Mr. Spencer demanded money, indicated that if she did not give money that they would kill her. Mr. Shivers, co-defendant in front of the vehicle, also had a firearm. Mr. Spencer had pointed the handgun at Ms. Campbell and in fact had fired one shot at Ms. Campbell. Ms. Campbell returned fire. Mr. Spencer was struck by Ms. Campbell's weapon. Mr. Shivers in front of the vehicle fired multiple times, striking Ms. Campbell's vehicle. Mr. Spencer, who was hit, and Mr. Shivers fled on foot. They eventually were in fled in a Mazda Tribute. Approximately 2:30, roughly 30 minutes later, a call went out about an automobile accident involving that Mazda Tribute at the Flash Foods near Forsyth Street and College Street. Officers went to that location, were able to talk with the clerk there and review some video surveillance, and determined that Mr. Spencer and Mr. Shivers had, in fact, been in that Mazda Tribute. After the vehicle wrecked, Mr. Shivers exited the vehicle, took two firearms and hid them behind that Flash Foods, and then Mr. Spencer, who had been struck with a bullet, was put in a vehicle, a third vehicle, driven by Dexter Maxwell. Mr. Maxwell took Mr. Spencer to the hospital where he was treated for his gunshot wound. At the hospital, Mr. Spencer made a voluntary and spontaneous statement in the presence of Detective Shirley, something to the effect of showing Detective Shirley his wound. Did you see what that old lady did to me? And further, that she did it with a revolver, which in fact factually is correct.
Your Honor, if I may just give a brief preview, we'll save most of the argument for the reconsideration of sentence sometime in the future, but I do want to share with the board that my client's 35 years of age. At the time this, I think the court will see, aberration occurred, he had been working for Cherokee Brick and Tile for over 3 years. He stands before the court as a 35-year-old man, having just pled guilty to an extremely serious offense. It is the first criminal offense he's ever had. And so the one thing we would like the court, and I've thoroughly explained it to him, I've talked with the court about, or with the state about this also, the state does not object, is that the court would sentence him as a first offender in this case.
Mr. Spencer, is there anything you want to say at this time?
Good thing you did.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I have to say it. You know, I don't know, and
You're 35 years old. Never been in any trouble. And you started at the top of the food chain. This is armed robbery is a capital offense. And I've said this to other guys who've been in here. I don't understand what's going on now. I really don't. Why?
I did make a mistake.
Yeah.
And these 2 years I had to just sit down and just evaluate myself. You know, it's been hard. You know, my child out there, and I had to deal with it being on the inside, and I can't do nothing about it but change. That's all I can do. Just asking for another chance.
Was it the money?
No, I work.
That's what I know. You already told me you had a job for 3 years. If it wasn't for the money, what was it for?
Made a bad decision.
Yeah, well, and on several levels.
Yeah.
One, with the rest of your life, and two, you picked the wrong lady to rob. Apparently, she picked y'all up. How long were you in the hospital?
That day, when
you back.
I spent some of the time in infirmary too,
Yeah.
trying to recover.
Like I said, some people shoot back. All right, Mr. Spencer, what we're gonna do today is this. I'm gonna sentence you to 20 years in the penitentiary. I'll sentence you to the first offender. Mr. Wheeler explained all that to you, right?
Yes, sir.
That'll become more of an issue when you come back. I'll explain it to you in more detail when you come back. And we'll see what happens going forward. My understanding of this is any downward modification depends on you,
Yes, sir.
nothing else. So that ball's in your court. Anything else, Mr. Allen?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Williams?
Not at this time, just to perfect the record too. I've talked to him a number of times. The court's aware, the state's aware, that he's been in custody for 28 months. And automatically, the Department of Corrections give him credit for every day that he's
Yeah,
served.
you'll get credit for all that time from DOC.
Thank you.
Okay,
That's all I have at this point.
all right. Thank you. We'll take you back.
Thank you.
One more.